Roger, what we came up with back here is a pollinator garden.
And a pollinator garden is?
Well, Roger, it's gonna basically to the untrained eye look like any other garden, but we've picked out a species of plants that are going to be specifically suitable to serve our pollinators.
So in one of the biggest cities in the United States, we're going to be able to get hummingbirds and butterflies here?
Absolutely. They're here, but they just need the habitat. So it's like the field of dreams. If we build it, they will come. And Roger, just imagine if every homeowner on this block did the same thing, we could mitigate some of this habitat loss that we get through development.
Well, let's build it then.
Let's do it. This area is the sunniest part of Jamie's landscape, and it's going to be a very important component for our pollinator garden.
Most flowering plants love full sun, so this will be a great place to get our plants started.
Absolutely. Now, but first though, because we have this clay soil here, we're going to incorporate some good organic compost. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to help us retain water, it's going to help us create good soil structure, and because it's an organic backyard, it's going to feed our soil biology.
We're just going to top dress it with this compost and turn it into the soil.
Now, because these beds are so narrow, we needed to go vertical here. Got to take advantage of this vertical space. So what we've decided to put here are some passion vine. This has got a beautiful flower, bloom all summer long, but it's also a host plant for 2 species of our native fritillary butterflies.
And the challenge has always been, how do we get it to grow up to the fence? But Jamie, you came up with an idea for that.
Yeah, I really wanted to use something old and repurposed. So at a local salvage yard, I found these old screen door protectors, and I thought it'd make a cool trellis.
Sure, how are you going to hang them?
Well, we put some I-beams and hooks on here and just wire it up.
Hang it right from the top?
Yeah.
How's that right there?
It's good. Just like that.
Jamie, I got to tell you, this trellis looks pretty good. It'll really hold the vines. I don't know if I could pull it off at home, but it works well here.
Hey, I like it.
What's the next step?
Y'all, the next step, Roger, is basically just digging a hole and putting the plant in the ground. We've already mined it with compost, so nothing else is necessary. Just dig a hole and put the plants in. Jamie, now that we can start training it up on the trellis, so start teasing them out a little bit. See how I've got this one out like this? We'll start teasing them out.
Oh yeah, look at this guy.
Yeah, you can just kind of weave it. So let's do this, just kind of take it, and you can just start weaving this vine. Now, Jamie, we really only need to get these vines just kind of in place because this one has tendrils and this is going to wrap around that trellis on its own. It'll hold itself very nicely with very little effort on our part.
Cool. All right, that's the last of the vines.
Man, they look really good. Let's talk about some of these great species we picked out for these pollinators. Y'all, the first one I'm gonna talk about, this is frostweed. This is gonna be blooming in the fall. This timing is perfect for when the monarchs are migrating through. There's actually a special component in this nectar. Think of it like coffee for monarchs. It gives them that extra jolt to get down to Mexico.
Over here we have echinacea. I recognize that from back home. That's a beautiful plant.
Very versatile, a lot of different varieties. This little one right here, this is skullcap. It's gonna stay low and it's gonna be blooming from now till frost. It's great for beneficial insects and all pollinators as well.
And what are these yellow guys here?
Jamie, that's new gold lantana. Y'all, any of the lantanas are great nectar plants and they're very versatile. There's a lot of different varieties. That's a really, really good choice for that area right there. But y'all, here's the special stuff right over here. This is milkweed. This is our native milkweed, and this is a host and a nectar plant for monarch butterflies. Y'all, host plants are the ones that the female butterfly seeks out to lay her egg on. The egg hatches, the caterpillar comes out, and it starts eating the plant. It also has a beautiful flower, so it's a great nectar plant for monarch butterflies and all other pollinators as well.
So the more milkweed we have, the more monarchs we have.
Absolutely, got to have their habitat.
Let's get them in the ground.
Let's do it. Y'all, the last thing we're going to put in this bed is this toothache tree. This is actually a medicinal plant. It's in the citrus family, and if you chew the leaf, it'll numb your mucous membrane. So if you got a toothache, you should run out here and put a big wad of these leaves in your mouth.
So you can eat this?
You can. One of the common names for this plant is tickle tongue.
Ooh, yeah. It's tickling. It's citrusy.
But y'all, the cool thing about this, it's also a host plant. for the biggest butterfly in North America, the giant swallowtail. We've got some caterpillars on this plant right now. If you look right here, this caterpillar's fixing to pupate.
But totally blends in with a branch. And what a set of thorns on it, huh? So are we ready to plant?
We are.
Let's get it in the ground. Got it?
Y'all, now that we got the plants in the ground, the last thing we always do is put mulch down. Here in Texas, we get really hot and dry during the summers, and we need to moderate soil temperature and moisture. That coating of mulch does that real nicely for us. We're using cedar mulch today because it smells really good and it breaks down really nicely for our soil biology. So about 2 inches thick. Y'all, and always remember when you're applying mulch, keep it back away from the plant just a little bit. Try not to let it touch the stem. That's really important. Now that the mulch is down, the last thing we do is water. You want to make sure you water very thoroughly to set these plants, settle the dirt, and just give them a good drink and let them get ready for this Texas heat that's coming on. Well, y'all, the key to the health of any landscape is diversity. Another way to add diversity in a landscape like this is to put in a water feature.
Now you found this one, right?
Yeah, I wanted something kind of funky, industrial, and so this is actually a horse trough.
Funky you got, but simple and easy to maintain.
Well, a lot of people don't think about water plants as flowering, but they sure do, and they're great nectar sources. This is pickerelweed. You can see this beautiful purple flower. There'll be pollinators all over this plant.
But the thing about these plants is you don't have to replant these or repot them. They can just go in the water if it's at the right depth, right as they are.
Exactly. Once you just determine the correct depth, they stay in the pot and you just drop them right in. We've got some pedestals in here, so all we got to do is just set them in the...
You just drop it?
Just drop them right on top of the support structure right there.
Nice.
That's it.
One thing you have to worry about when you have a body of water like this that isn't moving is mosquitoes.
Oh, around here we got mosquitoes big time, but all you got to do is put a couple of goldfish in here. They'll eat all the mosquito larvae and you won't have any mosquitoes, at least not coming from this pond.
And you'll be amazed at the amount of insects and birds that come to this water source.
Love that.
Now you have a nice backyard to plant in. Some people who live in a condo or an apartment, they don't have a yard, so we can use containers to do the same thing we did for you, right, Randy?
Exactly. Now, Roger, we're obviously not in an apartment right here, but what this ground below us was not workable, so it was a great location for containers. What I'm putting in this container right here, these are herbs. Not only can Jamie use these whenever they're cooking, but also, y'all, another thing, if you look at these flowers, they're the right size for beneficial insects, and pollinators really love them. One of these herbs I want to show y'all is this one right here. This is rue. This is the host for the giant swallowtail butterfly. The same thing that the toothache tree was a host for, this will also host as well. So host and nectar plant as an herb.
What are these neat red ones right there?
The red ones are called pentas. Not native, but they do well in containers. And this one is one of those that actually blooms now till frost. It's just a great nectar plant. Butterflies really love this flower.
And what is this one?
Roger, this is a native plant. This is called Eupatorium radii. It's another fall bloomer. So when the monarch's coming through this fall, this one will be in full bloom and it'll be a great nectar source for that butterfly.
So we're just gonna pop it in the center of this hole?
It'll do great in that container. Put yours right there, bro. And Jamie, you can go right up to the edge with that almost. Did you get something between them? Come back just a little bit from there. You go. Now drop it in on this guy here. Well, Jamie, everything's in. What do you think?
Man, this is incredible. I am blown away. Looks so good.
Well, it's only going to get better with time. But from now on, what you need to do about twice a week, give everything a good soaking. But these are native plants, and once they get established, they'll be able to take care of themselves on just rainfall.
Okay.
And you'll be amazed how fast the insects can find this place. In fact, take a look over here. Look on the echinacea, there's a butterfly over there already.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Roger, look right here. I've already got a dragonfly right here.
Well, guys, this is pretty incredible. Roger, I appreciate you coming down to Texas. Randy, you killed it. This is awesome.
My pleasure. A lot of fun.
Thank you.
Sure welcome.